healthy, it will be beneficial to the country, the whole humanity. Therefore, we decided to gift this fruit to you, rare fruit to you. And if you take this fruit, you will remain young all the time and you will have a long life. So, king received it, thanking him and giving him all other gifts, also material gifts. And then afterwards the king started thinking, he loves his queen so much that what is the use I alone become young if my wife is going to be old. So let me give this fruit to my wife, the queen. So he gave this fruit to the queen. And afterwards he forgot about it. He kept on doing his own chores. And in the evening he was sitting in the balcony, and when he looked down he saw the girl who supplies vegetable to the royal kitchen. That girl was carrying a basket full of food items, and on top of it, this mango, this particular fruit was sitting there. King recognized the fruit and he saw, how come this girl is having this fruit? Maybe she has stolen from my queen. So all doubt came to the king, and he immediately sent the soldiers to bring her up, to question her how she got this fruit. So soldiers immediately went and lifted her bodily actually and brought her in front of the king. And the girl started shivering because the first time she has the audience of a king. She never seen him that close. So that king noticed that and he said, don't worry, I just want to know how you got this fruit. Oh, then she was relaxed. He said, this I got it from the royal chef. Royal chef, you got it. So then now he wants to know how the royal chef got it. And royal chef is a very hefty, heavy and round person, because he gets all the good food, you see. Because royal kitchen first, he is the one who takes it, then only others get it. So he, panting, sweating, he moved from the kitchen to the balcony of the king. It was a long distance walking, so he came running and asked, Huzur, yes, what can I do for you? The king calmly asked, I want to know how you got this fruit. Oh, then he said, that I got it from Commander-in-Chief's wife. Commander-in-Chief's wife. Then he called Commander-in-Chief's wife. Commander-in-Chief's wife said, this I got it from my husband. Then how did husband got it? Commander-in-Chief was called. Then he said, this is what I got it from queen. Now, when he saw the whole chain of, the transference of this fruit means what? He thought he loves his queen, but queen's love is in the commander-in-chief. Commander-in-chief's love is in his wife. His wife's love is in the royal chef. Think about it. And royal chef's love is what? The girl who brings vegetables. And when he saw this whole thing, he got completely gained vairagya. And he never got angry with her, with anybody. And he, overnight, he handed over the kingdom to his brother and walked away into the forest and then took sannyas and became a great saint. That is the Bhartrihari name. He has written 2 books. One is called Niti Shatakam, another is Vairagya Shatakam. These are the 2 famous books he has written. And we will see Niti Shatakam. So all of you got the script. You can look at your book. So first one is the Mangala Shloka, Mangala Charanam. For writing any book, those days they invoke the grace of Lord so that they will not have the pride that I am writing this. It is all with the blessings of the Lord. Dikkaladhyavana Chinnananta Chinmatra Murtaye Swanubhutyeka Namaya Namashantaya Tejase. In this Mangala Shloka, Bhartrihari is offering his prostrations to Paramatma. And there are several words denoting Paramatma. The first word is Dikkalat Anavachinna Ananda Chinmatra Murtaye. The Paramatma, who is the nature of pure consciousness, which is not limited. Limitations are threefold: Desha, Kala, Vastu. Space, time-wise and attribute-wise. These are the limitations. All of us are limited by space, time and object-wise. So you are here now in this place. You cannot be in different places at the same time. That is not possible. Same way, you are limited to certain area because your body can cover only certain area. So object-wise also you are limited. So Bhagavan is the one who is free from all these limitations because he is free from object, time, space, beyond time and space. Here Bhartrihari says all the three limitations are not there. Dikkaladi anavachinna. Anavachinna means not limited by. Here dik refers to space, so we have to add dik anavachinna and kala anavachinna. Adi means here etc. refers to property or vastu. Vastu anavachinna or guna anavachinna, because every object has got its own properties which make the object a particular object. To such Paramatma Namaha, my prostration. Now, how to know such Paramatma exists? What is the proof for the existence of such Paramatma? Perhaps it may be our imagination. In fact, after many years of Vedantic study, a person can get a fundamental doubt. Is there such a thing called Brahman, God? Why does this doubt come? It is because every object is proved through an instrument of knowledge called Pramanam. Instrument of knowledge is called Pramanam. You accept the existence of colors because they can be proved through the eyes. Similarly, sound can be proved through the ears. Whereas you don't accept the existence of a horn of a human being because the horns is not provable by any instrument of knowledge. Therefore, there is a general rule. Manadhina meya siddhihi. It is the same as pramana adhina prameya siddhihi. So the existence of prameyam, an object proved by a pramanam, instrument of knowledge. How do you prove the existence of Brahman? We require some pramanam. Pramanam means instrument of knowledge. But scriptures themselves point out that Brahman is not available for any pramanam. Sarva pramana akocharam Brahma. Aprameyam Brahma. Pratyaksha pramanam cannot show Brahman. Anumanam cannot show Brahman. Now the question comes as to how do you prove the existence of Brahman? For that, Bhartrhari gives the answer. He is showing his knowledge of the Upanishads. He is not a poet, but he is a jnani himself. He shows that here, Swa Anubhuti Eka Manaya. Brahman does not require any other pramanam to prove it because it is evidence because of its own consciousness or nature. So its very nature of consciousness make it self-evident. Therefore, Bhartrhari says, Swa Anubhutihi. Anubhutihi means Chaitanyam. Awareness. Swa Anubhutihi means its own awareness. Swaswarupa Chaitanyam eva ekam manam. Manam means pramanam. So for Brahman, the pramanam means Brahman itself. It means that it is self-evident, self-revealing. Now to prove that point, suppose I ask you, you are all here in this hall. Have you come to this lecture? Are you present in this lecture? Now, you have to ask your friend to confirm. Do you have to ask anybody to confirm? Suppose I ask you, your friend has come to the lecture, you have to ask her. But suppose I ask you, are you attending this lecture? Do you have any doubt? Because you are present here. You are conscious that you are present here. That awareness, and without that awareness present, as soon as you get up, what is that? Early morning you get up from your bed before waking up. There is a period, I don't know, you noticed it. When the alarm rings, you get up, isn't it? But then getting up doesn't mean you woke up. Some people wake up in the bathroom only. When the toothpaste goes up and down, then only you wake up. But some people will sit the bed itself. Slowly an awareness comes. Oh, today is Sunday morning, Balavihar, we have to go. Is it not? Or Monday morning. Why every day Monday morning everybody curses? That period between getting up and waking up, that period, next time you watch, nobody notices it. Next time you watch. That I exist, I am, this awareness. It is not a result of thought. It is, you become conscious of your existence. That is called Paramatma. So, Paramatma Anubhuti you always have on a daily basis. But we are not aware of it. We are not conscious about it. We never recognized it. That is the problem. It is not that you have to experience Paramatma. Paramatma is with you all the time. So that is what he says. But there he says, Swanubhuti. Finally he says, Tejase. Tejase means effulgence, bright, which is capable of illumining everything. It is all illumining based on Denadatra Suryo Bhadit Chandra Tarakam Nema Vidyudo Bhandik Kutoyamagnihi Tameva Bhandam Anubhadi Sarvam. That alone shines, everything shines after. So with that the Mangala Sloka is done. Now we go to, in your text it will be, this first one is 16 number, right? So we go to the next one, 19. I go up and down a little bit. 19. Keyuranina bhushayanti purusham harana chandrojjvala na snanam na vilepanam na kusumam na lankrita murdhaja vanyeka samalankaroti purusham ya samskrita dharyate Chiyante khalu bhushanani satatam Vagbhushanam bhushanam. In this verse, Bhartrihari is emphasizing the importance of speech. We always take the faculty of speech for granted and we loosely use this faculty. Often we abuse this faculty because it is free and there is no taxes also. Therefore, its glory and power are not known. Generally, in our culture, Vak is given a high status. Here, Bhartrihari also brings out the importance of speech. If you see this faculty, speech is a unique faculty available only to human being. All the other living beings like plants and animals can make some sounds. But the unique power of speaking in terms of language makes human beings very different from the other animals. If you take the words produced by human being, the words have got twofold status. When I am speaking these words through your Srotra, the organ of hearing, that is ears, you hear these words. From that standpoint, the words are objects or prameyam. They are only sounds which are revealed through the pramanam called Srotra Indriya. So, from one angle, the speech or sound is one of the objects of the world, one of the objects known or experienced. But if you know the language that I use, and if your intellect is trained enough, though these words are prameyam, objects, they themselves are capable of functioning as pramanam, producing knowledge in your mind. From that angle, the words themselves become pramanam. Imagine that you are listening to Chinese news radio. When you are listening to that, is it pramanam or prameyam? It is merely functioning as prameyam, means sound, an object of knowledge because you are able to hear the sound. The Shrotra Pramanam, the Chinese news function as prameyam. It is Pratyaksha Prameyam, Pratyaksha Pramanam. The Chinese news is Pratyaksha Prameyam, but if you know the Chinese language, the very same news become Pramanam. The very words become Shabda Pramanam. So the words are Pratyaksha Prameyam, and for a trained intellect, the very same words become Shabda Pramanam. So words can generate kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada and matsarya. So I can give him knowledge which can totally change the direction of his life. Words not only affect the intellect of a person and through that his entire life, but they can affect the emotional mind of a person. They can produce any emotion, positive or negative. Words can generate love, compassion and kindness. Words cannot only influence individuals, but they can influence even communities and nations. They say that in the last century, only 3 books revolutionized the world. They are just books, thoughts condensed in words. One book is The Evolution of Species by Darwin, due to which the whole Christianity was in trouble, because their theory of creation is the Lord sat behind the clouds and created one after another. On the 7th day he created the sun, but because it was all dark. Then the sun came and asked, if he was created on the 7th day, how they found out the previous 6 days without the sun. Thus there is theory of creation, and that got demolished because of Darwin's theory. All those who accepted evolution theory became atheists, non-believers of God. Even now, evolution theory influences many people. So, one changed the course or the direction of humanity. The second book is the Das Kapital of Karl Marx, because of which communism came and countries got converted, affecting millions of people. Now after 70 to 80 years, it is slowly changing. Even now, the ex-Soviet Union is struggling. It is all because of book, words, power of speech. The third book that affected the course of history is Hitler's biography, Mein Kampf. I think I am pronouncing correctly. That was another book which influenced and created the entire Second World War and changed the course of history. A book is nothing but just group of words, but they can revolutionize. Coming to our scriptural words, our Vedas, the Upanishads are nothing but words. These words can ultimately release a person from samsara. Therefore, never takes for granted. That is why we have a saying, Lakshmi vasati jihvagre mitra bandhava, jihvagre bandhanam praptam, jihvagre maranam dhruvam. Prosperity is on the tip of the tongue. Lakshmi vasati jihvagre. In fact, many salespeople who are eloquent speakers sell even useless things only because of the capacity of speech. If there is anybody here, don't mistake me, okay? Salesman. Jihvagre mitra bandhavaha. We can keep our friends and relatives together if we have proper speech. Otherwise, nobody will come. Bandhanam cheva jihvagre. If a wrong word is used, nowadays, it's politically correct word you have to use. The government can arrest you also. Finally, jihvagre maranam dhruvam. The words can even cause death. For that also we have an example. So what is that? Salman Rushdie, author of satanic verses, maranam because of words. Therefore, walk is a powerful instrument. But Bhartrhari says, walk not only is a powerful instrument, but it can serve as a beautiful, unfading ornament. There are many other physical ornaments, but the problem is that they are all subject to loss and fading. Whereas Vak Bhushanam, the words can become permanent ornament for a person. That is the topic of this verse. Bhartrhari first talks about other ornaments. What are they? Keyurani. Keyuraha means bracelet, kankanam. Na bhushayanti purusham. They are not the real ornaments of people because they can fade. Not only that, but even if they continue to be there, the body which wears the ornament begin to fade. How does a close-up photograph of Miss Universe look at age 90? Therefore, Keyurani Purusham na Bhushayanti. They do not really decorate. Then, what about necklaces? Haraha na Chandrojjalaha. Even necklaces which shine like the moon also really do not decorate. Chandravat Ujjalaha Chandrojjalaha. Then Chandroglaha Hara Purusham na Bhushayanti. They do not really add beauty. What about baths? There are different type of baths like steam bath, etc. One day I saw a picture in some magazine. I saw people only from their neck and above. Then I came to know that coffee powder adds a shining to the skin. Therefore, there is a big pit of coffee powder and all are entering into that up to neck. It is to add beauty to the skin, which is going to shrink after a few years. Nasnanam. Na vilepanam. Vilepanam means smearing all kinds of powders and lotions. They do not really add to the beauty. In fact, according to medical science, they are harmful because they close the pores of the skin, which has to be opened because the sweat has to come out. Sweating is God designed to maintain the body temperature. The idea is love your skin and its natural complexion. If somebody else cannot see that, it is their prarabdha. Therefore, don't bother about that. Na kusumam. Kusumam means decking with all type of flowers. Na alankrita murdajaha. All kinds of hair decoration or hairdos, spending thousands of dollars. We cannot say lady barbers. We should not say barber, it is an indecent word. We have to use some nice words, stylist or something. But the job is that only. Somebody said, now we have a generation which gives so much importance what is over the head rather than what is inside the head. Therefore, all these things do not really add to the beauty. Murdha Jaha means hair on the head. Murdha means head. Jaha means born. Murdha Jaha means born on the head. So, if these are all not ornaments, then what is the ornament? Vani eka samalankaroti purusham. It is the speech that a person uses. That is the real beauty of a person, decoration for a person. It is not one of the ornaments, it is the only unfading ornaments. Samyak purusham alankaroti. Now, what type of speech? It is not any type of speech. Ya samskrita dharyate. That speech which is refined, cultured, gentle, soft, polite. Cultured, refined, gentle, soft, polite. That refined speech alone is the ornament of person. In fact, we can easily weigh the person, measure a person just by listening to his words for a few minutes. Now the question is, what do you mean by a refined speech? That's why in Ramayanam you see when Bhagavan Ramchandraji and Lakshmana met Hanumanji. Hanumanji was in the form of a Vadu Brahmana. And Hanumanji asked a few questions. The very way he asked the question, Bhagavan recognized in him. He is a cultured person, he is well educated, etc. Now, what are the parameters which determine the refinement of speech? If you ask that question, we have to take the help of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna mentioned 4 factors which make the speech cultured and refined. In 17th chapter, instead of using the word Samskritavani, there Krishna uses the word Sattikam Vakyam. So the verse goes like this. It is 17th verse, 17th chapter, 15th verse. Anudvekakaram Vakyam Satyam Priyahitam Chayat Swadhyayabhyasanam Chaiva Vangmayam Tapa Uchyate. Lord Krishna mentioned 4 parameters. What are they? The first one is that it should be Satyam. The first parameter of refined speech is that it should be truthful. In fact, each one is very important. Shankaracharya says in his commentary that all the 4 factors are equally important. That means to maintain these 4 factors is a lifelong project. It is such a tough, difficult and time-consuming job. So the first one is Satyam. Whenever we get into trouble or if there are conflicts or difficulties, the easiest way out is lying. So I should first know the importance. I know the material advantage, the worldly advantage, the transactional advantage, because many problems can be solved by one harmless lie. But if I have to follow truth, I should know is the loss that I have. What is the loss that I have? Even though it has got worldly material advantage, I should repeatedly tell my mind that every lie takes me farther from moksha. And also, it will create a split personality. Because your intellect says what is truth, and the mind says, no, I cannot tell the truth. I had to shift it. I had to twist it. I had to tell a lie to get away from problem. So the mind and intellect will have a conflict. This is called split personality. And if this continue, what happened is your inner personality is not integrated. Unless the inner personality is integrated, you cannot do anything constructive in this world. Unless you are together. So what happened? Even simple example, you decided to get up in the morning 5 o'clock so that you can take a bath and have time for meditation, prayers, etc., puja. You decided, you put the alarm 5 o'clock. Then when the alarm rings, what happens? You stop the alarm and go to sleep 5 more minutes, that's all. The 5 more minutes become 1 hour, isn't it? So, the one who has to get up is different, one who decided is different. There are two personalities in you. That is why people generally say, Swamiji, whatever I think, opposite happened. Then they will come and say that man decide, God, man proposes, God disposes. As if Bhagavan has no other job. It is nobody, not Bhagavan's job, it is our own job, our own personality. These are all the result of telling lie. Simple, harmless lie. They say harmless lie. Harmless lie for others. You think it is harmless, but it does harm to you. So leave alone moksha, but even practical life also, it creates problem. So I have to constantly remind that every lie takes me farther from moksha. Farther from moksha means farther from Lord. And without Bhagavan's grace in you, you cannot live in this world happily. Whether it is small or big, whether it is casual or premeditated. So, that is one big project. Then the second parameter Krishna says is Anudvegakaram Vakyam. It should be non-hurting. It is another big project because I have to know all the words which will hurt human beings. You don't have to worry about that. Whatever hurts you, you should not use for others. I have to watch for all the words which are hurting me. There are certain universal words which will hurt anyone. Then there are certain words which will affect only a particular nation. Those words hurt in that nation or community. They affect a particular group or family or a particular person. Now, I'll give you an example. We use the word Swamiji for sannyasis, right? In fact, we all address each other Swamiji. Now in the Ramakrishna Mutt, they have a convention that the word Swamiji is exclusively reserved for only one person. It is reserved for Swami Vivekananda ji only. Because of the traditional association, the word Swamiji has got such a loaded meaning. It is because of all the followers see Swami Vivekananda as their leader. The whole world respects Swami Vivekananda ji. Because of that, any sannyasi belonging to that tradition does not want the word Swamiji to be used to address them. No, so there is a group of people who do not want them to be addressed as Swamiji. So now we have to be alert with regard to this respect. I am saying this because different words have got different connotations and produce different responses and reaction in a group of people, in community, in a religion, etc. Therefore, anudvekakaram means I should know all the words which will hurt different people. There is another big project. This is another big project. All these are with regard to a single faculty called speech. Therefore, anudvekakaram ahimsa rupam. The next factor that has to be taken care of with Lord Krishna mentioned in the Gita is priyam. That is, the word should indicate my love, my compassion, my kindness for the other person. We should watch the tone, the decibel, the type of words, because my attitude is expressed through the words. Therefore, the word should ooze the attitude of kindness or compassion, priyam. That is, it should indicate that I care for the person. I am interested in the well-being of that person. It is easier to have that attitude towards the family, people or children or someone. But here the value is universal. That make it still more difficult. Then finally we have hitam. Whatever I speak should be for the welfare of the listener also. That is, I should not merely keep in mind my own personal benefit. I should take into account the welfare of the other person also. That is called hitam. Shankaracharya says all the four factors have to be taken care of. Shankaracharya says in Bhagavad Gita commentary for this verse, if I take care of only one factor, then also it is unrefined speech. Now look at it. There are some people who claims that they are very open-minded. Some people say, Swamiji, I don't like to keep anything in my heart because I am very open and honest. I don't want to hide anything within me. So those people consider that speaking whatever is in the mind is open-mindedness. It is honesty, and therefore they think that it is virtue. But here Lord Krishna says speaking everything in the heart cannot be considered a virtue, because before I speak what is in the heart, it should fulfill three more other factors. It has to be filtered through three more layers. They are anudvekakaram, priyam, hitam. If the words cannot come out through these three filters, even though it is in my heart, I simply should not express. Then what is this honesty? Isn't it hiding the feeling? Shouldn't I be honest? We should know the definition of honesty very clearly. What is honesty? Whatever I speak should be in keeping with my feeling. Whatever I speak should be in keeping with my thoughts. Honesty doesn't mean speaking whatever is in my thought. Therefore, this blind, uncontrolled, uncensored, open-mindedness can become himsa. Then even though it is satyam, it also comes under adharma. Satyam can stand or enjoy the status of dharma only if it also fulfill anudvegakaram, priyam and hitam. Then the question comes, if I keep the feeling inside, don't express them out, thinking that they will hurt the person, then who will convey that? Somebody has to convey certain ideas to another person. Then we say Satyam also can be conveyed. If it has to be conveyed in a very careful manner, at the right time, at the right place, by proper padding, taking so many things into account, even Satyam can be conveyed without hurting a person. Now, how can we do that? So, Keyuranina bhushayanti purusham harara chandrojjala nasnanam na vilepanam na kusumam nalankrita murdhajaha vanyeka samalankaroti purusham ya samskrita dharyate chiyante kalu bhushanani satatam vakbhushanam bhushanam. So we are seeing what is that Samskrita Bhasha. Samskrita Bhasha means well refined. That's why Sanskrit is called Samskrita Bhasha. Samskritam, well refined. Then, what is that padding that we have to do? See, if there are pleasant truths, often there are unpleasant truths also. If there are soothing truths, often there are hurting truths also. We have to convey such a thing which is Satyam and Hitam, but not Priyam and Anudvegakaram. Now our first attempt is to avoid telling that. But often, if we avoid telling the truth, it may affect the future of that person, because the person may be my own son or daughter, or my own brother or sister, or my own wife or my husband. Therefore, I cannot withdraw from saying that. At the same time, if I tell, it is going to be painful. Then what to do? Now we have to convey. To convey such a thing, we have to remember certain fundamental rules. When we have to reveal a hurting truth just to educate that person, just to correct that person, just as constructive criticism, it can work only if I am held in great respect by that person. Constructive criticism will work only if the listener has got a very great regard for me. But that is also very difficult. In the modern society, no one has great regard for anyone, including our own children. In fact, if we are ready to permit, the children are ready to advise us. When they come and talk, their very attitude is that the poor parents of olden days are not aware of the modern things. Therefore, constructive criticism can work only if I am greatly respected by the listener. If I have maintained that respect, I can call and tell that what they are doing is wrong. Better stop it. If I am so powerful, the other person will at least say that he will consider. So I should have that respect. If I do not have that respect, it will boomerang. Because the other person not only will not listen, but he will charge back. You will find that for one criticism that I make, he will come up with 100 charges. then not only will I miserably fail, but I will have to face this problem also. Then my attempt will be to defend myself for the charges that he has made. Therefore, one method is to have that status, but it is very difficult. If I don't have that status, the next thing that I can do is for any constructive criticism, which is definitely going to hurt the person, I have to pad it with sufficient number of glorification. Before you hit, you give anesthesia so that it will not pain. For one criticism, you have to give minimum 10 glorification. If you want to tell your teenager son, something. First you start praising him. You are wonderful. You know you are my son. You cannot be different. You are intelligent. You are getting A+ all the time. And like this, you are good in sport. You are cheerful. You make me happy. Your very presence makes me happy. All those things you keep on telling. That boy will be wondering what is going on. Then lastly, casually you say, a little thing, but I see a little thing. This you take care, you will be fine. Like this. Casually mention that it would be good if you can correct this small problem. After saying that, you have to disappear from there and pray and hope that this casual statement has somehow entered. It may not work immediately, but after some time it may work slowly. This is the second method. First is, you have to be respectful. You command that respect. Then that person may listen. At least he will say, I will consider. Second one is padding. Pad criticism with glorification. Pad every khandanam with mandanam. Try this with your wife, husband, children, etc. It is very interesting adventure. If both these two are not possible, the next alternative is, instead of direct communication, I have to work indirectly. This is the psychology actually. The psychologists do that. If a person has got a particular weakness that I want to point out, I have to introduce another person who does not have this weakness and start glorifying him in front of him. When I repeatedly introduce that aspect, chances are that the other person grasps that positive point, which can gradually remove this weakness. This is called apriyapatyam. What does apriyapatyam mean? It is that which is good but not very pleasant. When we have to convey apriyapatyam, it is very difficult. Even if you convey, often it may not be taken. We should be ready for failure. That is said in Mahabharata. Sulabha Purusha Rajan Satatam Priyavadinaha Apriyasya Pathyasya Vakta Shrota Cha Durlabhai. There are very few people talking about unpleasant truths. It is well-being but not pleasant. Even if it is conveyed Vakta Shrota Cha Durlabha, it is because Vakta, speaker, is rare. Here, listener also rare. It is because Bhishma, Drona, etc. tried to advise this Duryodhana. Duryodhana was committing mistake after mistake, and Bhishma, Drona knew that Duryodhana is digging his own grave. If Duryodhana has to be saved, certain truths will have to be revealed. Those truths are going to be unpleasant to Duryodhana. All those people, great stalwarts, tried and they miserably failed. Even Bhagavan Krishna himself failed. This shloka is said at that time, Apriyasya cha patyasya vakta shrota cha durlabha. That means communication is very, very important and difficult. But if you follow these four, it is called refined speech. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat. So, anudvegakaram satyam priyam hitam. These are the four factors. Which is the best ornament that a person can wear. Finally, one more point is to be noted here. We do talk about the importance of satyam, ahimsa, etc. at verbal level. Our scriptures do point out that there are exceptions to this general rule. In certain exceptional cases, they can say asatyam. That is also okay. Similarly, certain exceptional cases, himsa is okay. But we should remember that they are only exceptions. We should not hold on to the exceptions and abuse. Therefore, as far as we are concerned, we have to go by general rule only. Only after mastering general rule, we can think of exceptions. Otherwise, the problem will be that every time we tell a lie, we hold on to exceptions and justify our weakness, which is going to be for our own downfall. That is why they tell a story of a Mahatma. He was going with a disciple, and many people on the way worshipped him and offered various things. In one place, they were having liquor. Then that person had only that, and he served that to the Mahatma and his disciples. The Mahatma took it. Then the Shishyas thought it is wonderful. Yatha Guruhu tada Shishyas. It is adharma to consume liquor. Dharmashastra clearly says, Suram na pibet. Liquor should not be consumed. That is why there are some people who are so orthodox that they won't even take enough cough syrup because it contains a percentage of alcohol. If the Mahatma took, the disciples should have remained aloof. But they exploited the situation. Therefore, the Mahatma noted that they should be taught a lesson. Then, after traveling a little bit at one place, metal was being melted. The Mahatma was also a great yogi. He consumed the liquid metal. But when that happened, this disciple did not consume the liquid metal. Then the Guru looked at them and said, I have got the power to take both, and therefore I can violate certain rules. But don't use that exception in the name of Guru's action. Therefore, there are exceptions for Satyam Vada and Ahimsa, but we should not abuse them. Therefore, these four conditions are important. Then Bhatrari says, Chiyante khalu bhushanani satatam. Except this ornament of refined speech, all other ornaments fade, wear out. All other ornaments have got wear and tear, whereas Vak Bhushanam Bhushanam. The Vak Bhushanam, the ornament of refined speech alone, is the real ornament. The word Satatam must be connected with Bhushanam. Satatam Bhushanam. Our time is over. It is time? Huh? 10:30. Ah, 30. So we shall see next. So we have seen only one verse. It is 10:30, right? Where is the coordinators? Up to what time the class is? Huh? 10:40. Oh, I have 10 more minutes. Okay, good. Thank you. Then we go to the next verse. Next verse is 60. That is the first one in your book. Hartyuriyati na gocharam kimapisham pushnadi sarvada apyartibhya pratipadyamana manisham prapnodi vruddhim param kalpandeshvapi na prayadi nidhanam vidyakhyamandardhanam yesham tan pradimana munchata nrpaha kastei sahaspardhate. Now we have seen the glory of walk, speech, how important it is. It's called walk tapas. Now when it's okay. Sit on the chair here. Thank you. Walk tapas. Walk tapas is, first thing is, you take a vow that only when I speak only when others listen. This vow you take, you will see a lot of problem can be resolved. Most of us, when we speak, others don't listen. And here also when people announce here, how many people listen? After announcing everything, they will come and ask, Swamiji. Why? Because they were not listening. So only take a vow that only when they listen, I speak. And you will find that you have no need to speak. Mitabhashi, Ramchandraji's one quality was Mitabhashi. Little. Speak only minimum. And when you speak, you mean it. தமிழ் சொல்லுவேன் வளவளான்னு பேசப்படாது. Now glory of walk we saw. Now glory of Vidya. Next topic is glory of Vidya. Here Bhartrihari glorifies Vidya as the greatest wealth. Vidya is the greatest wealth because it can purchase both material prosperity as well as spiritual growth. Material prosperity is based on Veda Purva Bhaga and spiritual success is based on Vedanta. One is based on Aparavidya, material knowledge, and another is based on Paravidya, spiritual knowledge. Thus, Vidya is the foundation for everything. or for material wealth and spiritual wealth. We have seen this in practical experience also. In some states like Kerala, many people had the ancestral wealth in the form of land. It is that Kerala was created by Parashurama, and Parashurama, because Parashurama killed all Kshatriyas 22 rounds. Whether you are an avatara or whether you are for a good purpose or what, but killing is killing. So that he incurred sin for killing the people. Now, what is how to atone the sin? He said you should do Bhudanam. You offer land to Brahmanas. But lands are all belonging to Kshatriyas. So he could not get any land. So he thought that I will create my own land. So he took his parachute and threw in the Arabian Sea. The sea gave away. And that reclaimed land is called Kerala. That's called Kerala. Is another name is called Parashurama Kshetra. And then he brought Brahmanas from north. And they migrated there. They started living. Slowly all other people also came. But he gave the land to the Brahmanas. So Brahmanas owned the land. So what happened? They become relaxed. So they did not study anything. But they never took care of education or Veda Parayanam or their own duties. Yeah, they have wealth. So what happened? After some time, government passed a rule which took away all their lands. Those families which gave value for education could somehow survive because they took job or some job or other. In many families where there are no education, people committed suicide. There was a pathetic picture in the newspaper that an entire Nambudiri family committed suicide because of poverty, as their property was taken. They could have reconstructed if they had some knowledge or some skill. We need not go for spiritual knowledge. Any knowledge is useful. Therefore, here Bhartrihari says that Vidya is the greatest wealth. What are the advantages of this wealth? He makes a comparative study or contrast between Vidya Dhanam and Anya Dhanam. All other types of wealth. Anya Dhanam may be gold, money, land, shares, insurance, etc. So the first difference is, Bhartrihari tells in the third line, that it is Antardhanam. Knowledge is inner wealth, whereas all others are external wealth, Bahirdhanam. Because of that reason, there is a big advantage in this wealth which is not there in others. He says that in the first line, Hartuhu Gocharam Nayati. Harta means a thief, Choraha, Stenaha, Apaharta, all these meanings are there. The external wealth is accessible to thieves. The land can be misappropriated. If there is wealth at home, there is a fear of robbery or burglary. Therefore, Bahirdhanam is Chora Gocharam, whereas the Antardhanam is Chora Agocharam. Nobody can seal it. This is the second contrast. What is the third contrast? Bahirdhanam involves lot of maintenance, which requires effort. We have to think about where to invest. Effect of inflation. what is that, H fund and all that, where to deposit, which deposit mature. Constantly it is either fire walking or rope walking. It is a big headache, whereas to maintain Vidya, you don't have any problem. Either you keep on reading or find out some victim whom you can teach. Therefore, maintenance is very difficult there, but it is very easy here. The next difference is that the external wealth is taxable, whereas there is no tax for any knowledge. The external wealth will diminish in my account if I keep on spending. That is why it is very difficult to share or give, because the apurnatvam there makes me apurnaha. Therefore, Bahirdhanam diminishes on sharing. What is the glory of Vidyadhanam? The more you share, the more it increases. You get better clarity. People ask me, Swamiji, in last year's class, you did not tell this. So, Gita chapter, Bhagavad Gita, you take, I must have taken so many times. Every time it is new meanings are